Well, we are back. We hope this sticks around for the next hour or so. I'm talking about the Titus and Sergio Variety Hour podcast. We did the first one. Apparently it sounded like absolute crap. Last week, twice we tried to record the second one for 2019. And Titus O'Reilly, we had technical issues. Is that the way to describe it?
It was absolutely an enormous collapse. It was up there with the stars.
It was.
We did try 2 separate days to record it, and our mixers basically blew up.
Mixer blew up.
Can't say that a bucket of Coronas was involved or not.
No, we can't confirm or deny that.
Those rumours. And so we've gone and got a new equipment. So this is
new mixer. We've got our producer Andrew McVitie. He's now come in and is looking after it all for us.
So we're sorry about that. It was best endeavours, but we just couldn't get.
We tried. We just couldn't get.
So often in our lives, we just couldn't get there.
We just tried, but couldn't get the job done.
And it's funny because I tweeted out about the bucket of Coronas, and you've got people now, because you've mentioned it so frequently on the show, just tweeting you, messaging you whenever they see buckets of Coronas on sale at any pub.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but a guy tweeted me just over the weekend, like, now available at this new pub, like $25 for a bucket of Coronas.
If we don't get a Corona sponsorship out of this,
I tell you what, we should.
It's one product I'm willing to take in kind.
Oh, absolutely.
There's certain sponsorships that you go, I
don't want too many buckets. I just want the Coronas.
Remember the Australian Cricket Board back in the 70s, their first major sponsor was Benson and Hedges.
Yeah, that's right.
And it wasn't that much money, but one of the things that was the real perk is it kept the cricketers in smokes.
Yeah.
And that was seen as a massive, plus. They were really thrilled to get paid in kind.
I can't remember which player of that era, but he wrote a book like all cricketers still do.
Legally have to.
Yeah, and I read his book, and he actually said that when Benson Hedges first came in, Doug Walters, in his cricket bag, didn't have enough room for his bats. He had that many cartons of Benson Hedges in there. He had to get another guy to carry his bag of bats.
Yeah, so Corona would be... There's other things you're less interested in if they offered you a sponsorship.
Yeah, very few things, but...
You'd take most free things?
Yeah, I'll take most free things.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Willing to be bought off.
Concert tickets. I remember back in the day at Triple M, there was the one thing they couldn't give away. I remember a promotions guy came to the grill team. He said, "Hey, I've got Bon Jovi tour jackets for everybody." And everybody's going, "Yeah, pretty right with that." Yeah, thanks. No, don't worry about
that. So we did get, just on our audio issues, Mark Hayward did write in, "Can you not record this week's pod with Serge's Commodore 64?
Mark, it wasn't the problem with the Commodore 64. It was because we tried to upload the whole thing onto a floppy disk. I think that was the issue.
You kept saying to me, how come the disk won't go into the internet? So it was an absolute shambles, and we do apologise. Anyone that stuck and listened to the whole of the first episode, which was terrible quality, and we tried to fix it, but it wasn't good at all. So we apologise for that, but no one's ever accused us of being professional.
Well, exactly. And I think it just... By trying to fix it ourselves, it just proved how amateurish we are with things like this.
The minute you got out your screwdriver and a hammer, I started to think,
I was thinking, why can't we do it? Remember when TVs were sort of big square boxes? They weren't flat.
Yeah.
Whenever the picture was a bit dodgy, you just get out of your chair, walk up to it, and whack it on the side. That always seemed to work.
Yeah, no, same with raising kids. BBL final yesterday. Actually, it was good sport. There was AFLW, there's BBL, there's basketball, there's everything.
Yeah,
Sunday sport's been good.
It has been lately.
So, did you watch the final?
Well, I was sort of out at friends for all, and I watched the first half to 2/3 of the Renegades innings, and thinking that they were in trouble, deep trouble here. They were 5 for 50 odd, and then they came good, but they still, I think, like everyone else assumed. Yeah, they improved their innings, but they probably haven't put enough on.
Everyone thought that was a batting pitch, and therefore they haven't got enough to
probably close this game out. And then when I got home and flicked it on, and the Stars were none for 80, and I thought, this is just a cruise,
Well, they were Stoners and Dunk had put on 93 for the first wicket. So I was watching it and I was just like, well, they needed 53 runs off 43 balls with 10 wickets in hand. And
it's unlosable.
Well, I had a mate text me and go, I'm about to switch this off.
Yeah.
You know, could there be a worse for because it was too long a season.
I was going to do exactly the same, for the reason
for
you
a boring BBL season. It seemed like
there's plenty of other things to watch. I want to put the basketball on.
Yeah, so I had the AFLW on the other channel, so I was watching both. But and I wanted to watch basketball too. So and so I was a bit like, but then I kept it on, and then it was just...
So did I. And then when it got to 3 wickets, 4 wickets, maybe the Renegades are back in town.
Yeah.
And then it got towards the end. I thought, I'm just going to watch this.
It got laughable.
This has got the great all-time chokes.
So with 53 runs of 43 balls with 10 wickets in hand. So the Stars were just... I mean, it took work to lose from there.
Yeah. And
then, so the Renegades then took an astonishing 7 for 19.
Yeah.
7 for 19 in this. And it was just as wobbly as you can imagine. And I knew when Maxwell went out, you were just like, this is totally a collapse. And
every time one of the batsmen leant into it and tried to hit it over the top, you just knew as soon as it came off the bat, you're going to be caught here. And they all did. They all got caught on the boundary.
Yeah, it was amazing. So the other thing that was incredibly fun was watching Eddie.
Yeah, they kept crossing.
People were so thrilled after the Collingwood to
Twitter just lit up at Eddie's expense yesterday.
Do you know what's funny about it is I did a tweet about it, and it's just about even though the BBL was too long, it was worth it at the end for Eddie. And it got so many retweets, and the tweet wasn't like that amazing a joke. It was just people just have really turned on Eddie. If you bag Eddie, people were into it.
Exactly.
It is amazing how much he's gone from. He always had like a vocal minority that didn't like him.
Yeah.
If you go back like 10 years, but now it's like.
I mean, people. A lot of people take great delight when Collingwood fail, but now it's Eddie's responsibility for everything.
So that was Joel wrote, I had to duck out at the 13 over mark of the Stars innings today. How much did they win by?
It was a fair assumption, Joel.
I know there was a few people that told me they'd turned it off and only because they were following on Twitter turned it back on. Cam said, why did the Stars collapse and turn into a black hole? So that's a bit of astronomy here.
A bit of astronomy.
Yeah.
That's clever.
That's theoretically correct.
But don't get ahead of yourself. You're not necessarily going to win a book out of it. But
I'm glad you're just keeping everyone
on their toes.
Daniel Kennedy said, what was worse, Nickelback on Saturday night or Melbourne Stars on Sunday?
I'll throw one more into the mix, Daniel. Tonight, Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, it's back on 10, isn't it?
Tonight. And you know what I want to see tonight? A bit of Daniel Weird Jigger action on Dancing with the Stars.
But I don't get... I literally learnt... I think Friday I was reading some article about how Changing Rooms has apparently been brought back and bombed.
One of the great flops of the modern
all
era.
Time. And if a show rates in the realm of where this podcast rates, I know it's gone badly.
On a major free-to-air television network. And we have more listeners or
people
viewers.
Are pumping out a podcast with high numbers, you're in trouble. Especially our podcast.
And I'll tell you what, the other thing at Channel 10, have you seen those promos that for the show that starts next Sunday night? We're getting off topic a bit here, but with Julia Morris and Dr. Chris Brown, they got their own live variety show.
I haven't seen it. See,
it looks atrociously bad.
Because the BBL's not on Channel 10 anymore, I don't really watch Channel 10.
Yeah.
But so I didn't learn about Dancing with the Stars being back until Friday. Like I just read it in the article where it said, I was like, really, that's coming back? So I have no clue who's on it. Do we know who's on it?
Carl Stefanovic's ex-wife.
Right. Well,
Curtly Ambrose.
Poor Curtly. What's broke? Where's that all his money?
I don't know. Denise Scott's on it. Scotty.
All right.
And that's about the only three I can think of.
You haven't sold me yet, I just want to say.
Well, I'll put it this way. I'm the Jungle Show. That was about the sort of their...
Oh, yeah. Is that finished yet?
That finished last night.
Right.
on a pre-recorded, supposedly live finale.
Right.
And it was
Who won?
Richard Reed, that American.
Isn't he from the Fantastic Four?
Richard, I don't get any of those.
No. So who's
references.
he? I don't know him.
He's an American gossip reporter. He's like your Peter Ford of America.
Right.
Only gayer and more flamboyant than Peter.
Right, so that's a good description. I can totally picture him now. I don't get that's who won. So a gossip reporter is meant to be a celebrity.
And you know who came second? The chick from Gogglebox.
Right.
And
so they're really stretching celebrity.
And Shane Crawford came third, and Crawford was an intruder, came in at the last minute.
Right.
So it was. I actually reckon this was the last series.
Did it rate or not?
No.
Right. Okay.
People just didn't care.
No, I wonder why.
And you could see Channel 10 didn't care either. They'd stripped the budget back to its bare bones.
Right.
And they've obviously stuck with Chris Brown and Julia Morris, which I'm predicting already will be a bigger flop than that Grant Denyer show that he did late last year.
Yeah,
which again lasted 2 weeks.
I love all these shows, but only in hindsight. And I'd never, Dancing on Ice was my favourite. Remember they injured so many celebrities badly.
There was one of the actress. She had her fingers.
Grant Denyer could have done Dancing on Ice.
I think he did it at the Channel 7 Christmas party.
Remember he went to jail for it, or I don't know if he went to jail. He got rehab for
Well, he does tonight. He did suggest that he went to rehab for exhaustion. Yeah, right.
So anyway, that's
I'd get exhausted, if I'd been up for 5 nights
on ice.
I'd be pretty much exhausted.
Anyway, we're way off topic here. Andrew Stay said, on a scale of 1 to 10 buckets of Corona,
here we go again.
How satisfying was it to watch an Eddie Maguire-backed team choke in a grand final for the second time in 5 months?
Well, that's right. Second time in 5 months. But which of the two losses can you attribute most to Eddie?
Oh, I think both of them 100%.
Both completely and utterly? Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. But I think the Stars, after what happened yesterday, they've already gone out on a big recruiting mission. You know who they've named they're going to be their lead batsman next year?
No.
Sam Stozer. She would fit right into that side.
So anyway, well done to the Renegades. And, gee, wasn't it it's just lucky we had the town was torn apart.
Yeah. The red or the green.
And the green, families divided.
I've said this 800 times, but I still don't get why grown adults care about the actual teams.
It was funny, though. They were showing, pictures. Yeah, grown adults. They were showing kids. So I think...
Kids I get.
The generation in 10, 20 years will care.
Yeah.
Because they've grown up with it.
Yeah.
But for us, it's you got to be indoctrinated at birth. It's like footy.
You do.
I know
I completely understand the footy. If it's a family thing. You grow up, you barrack for Collingwood.
But you're indoctrinated from birth. It's like
birth.
Religion. So, I know that a lot of my ups and downs over supporting Melbourne is ridiculous for a grown man to have the feelings I have over how well a bunch of 20-year-olds running around on the weekend go. But I can't shake it because it's like people who can't really shake Catholicism. Yeah. Because they were just so, even if they've given it up, they're just so entrenched.
Even if they understand the intellectually
and they don't believe in it.
Thing,
yeah.
I've got friends like that who were born Catholics, went to Catholic school, and now older and looked at the whole thing objectively and said, look, it's not for me, but sometimes it just creeps up in your head and and this friend of mine, she says, and you just feel guilty, and I know for no reason. Yeah. And it just goes back to getting belted over the head by nuns.
So the BBL doesn't have that.
Well, no.
Not yet.
It doesn't. Well, this is the thing. The first year of the BBL, I remember tugging my boys along because they wanted to go and watch. Yeah. And it was a Melbourne Stars game. And I think it was like the third game of the Big Bash League in its entire history. And the MCG was full of grown men in green polo shirts. I'm thinking, why do you blokes care that much? It's just made up.
Do you have a team?
No, I could care less.
See, I want to go for the Stars because they're based at the MCG and I hate Marvel Stadium. And it's just, and being an MCC member, it's easier and everything.
Yeah.
But the Shane Warne, Eddie Maguire bit sort of negates it a bit for me. So I don't really have a team.
No.
You know, I did enjoy just the collapse yesterday, though, because that was just funny.
Yeah, that was funny, yeah.
Winx won again on the weekend.
I did watch this.
I watched this too. I think it's one of the rare times I'll make sure I...
Exactly. This is one of the great things about Winx, and it happened with Black Caviar a bit as well, is that I'm not a big racing fan and don't know that much about it, but whenever Winx runs, I make a point of finding out what time the race is and I flick it over to watch it.
Well, it was the Apollo Stakes, which is a Group 2, and it was Royal Randwick, and big crowd turned out. 30th consecutive win.
Yeah.
Did it pretty easily, actually. Looked like didn't look in trouble at any
just cruising, point. And then the 200.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah, two and a bit lengths.
Just like change, when you go from 5th gear to 4th, and you get that bang through the wheels.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
I tell you what, though, watching the lead up on 7, Bruce.
I didn't see that.
He's just getting like restraining order level.
Would you like to see a horse take a commentator to court?
But if anyone, I made a joke like find someone who feels about you how Bruce feels about Winx. Yeah. But then later on, I was thinking it's actually if someone felt like that, it would be too much.
Yeah, it'd be like a bit.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate you think I'm great, but I'm not. That'd
be like somebody just parked in a car outside your house the whole time.
Yeah. You just find
it's flattering
everywhere.
But,
so Winx has earned more than $23 million in prize money.
And hasn't seen a cent of it.
That's the thing. But needs a better agent. But they get looked after, I suppose. Their only downside is the constant fear of being put down jockey, if you fall over.
10% of every prize money.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty good run himself.
Yeah.
There's 2.4 mil straight into his kick.
Yeah, it's good money.
It is good money. I doubt whether you or I could ever race at 48 kilos, but but it's good money if you can get it.
Now, over the last few weeks, they've appointed a new Matildas coach
just
recently, but it was after this absolute train wreck.
Shambles, schmozzle that is Australian soccer on every level.
Yeah, the NRL and the FFA are kind of in a competition.
How good's their summer
and Cricket Australia too.
Yeah.
They're all kind of... It's the thing I always say, the AFL is the worst sporting administration in the country, except for the rest of them.
Compared to everyone else.
Except for the rest of them, because the rest of them are just... But the FFA in sacking their coach was just absolutely... they didn't really explain why. They sort of hinted there was some sort of workplace bullying. They were vague whether it was sexual harassment or not, and you didn't really know. But then they kind of went quiet on that and said, we can't say.
And then there was apparently some sort of, what do you call it, a survey done.
Yeah, they had a survey done.
The players, they wouldn't reveal that. And then they sacked, Alan Stadgic and David Gallop, the CEO of the FFA.
Yeah.
Hasn't he got a good track record? David Gallop's come out and had a press conference, and it was an absolute shambles. He didn't say anything. And every time they asked him a question, he couldn't answer.
No, and they sort of hinted there's something going on there, but then at the same time, then they've been pressed on it, they sort of then say, oh, no, it's nothing, because they don't say.
Yeah.
And so you're either you've either got something that's significant or you got nothing. But, it's so weird how they've handled the whole thing.
They've just handled it appallingly. And then just last week, he came out and he didn't take any prisoners when he came out and spoke last week. And then, but the way I look at it, because obviously we don't know, nobody really knows what it's all about. The FFA won't explain. Yeah. He's given his side of it. But then Sam Kerr came out last week and spoke incredibly highly about him. And so my simple reading of it is if Sam Kerr reckons he's good, should be the coach, let him be the coach.
Well,
she's the best player in the world.
What I don't get is, it reminds me a bit of this. Remember the Ross Lyon stuff last year, where there was some sexually inappropriate comment sort of idea, but they wouldn't go into any detail.
No.
And then they said we're sticking by him, and then it was like, well, what did he do? we're not going into it. There were rumours and there's a lot of, but no one, it never got put on the record what it actually was.
Yeah.
And it is a problem, I guess, balancing privacy with the fact that people need to know these things because these are sort of community organisations.
But
so, why are you doing it?
There's a smarter way better to handle it, surely.
Well, David Gallup must be the AFL's favourite sporting administrator.
Oh, yeah, he's
wherever he goes.
He's been a dud for decades.
So, it was sort of the one bright thing, the Matildas, that the FFA had.
Yeah, exactly.
At the moment, with all
FFA's been a disaster the last 2 years with the men and the A-League and all that sort of, and the board and the lowy, ins and outs. But yeah, you're right. The one good thing about Australian soccer was the Matildas. They win everything. They're as patronising as this might sound, they're a likeable group.
Yeah.
And they've got the best player in the world out going playing for them.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Well, even it's weird, the expansion of the A-League. They choose Sydney and they choose Melbourne.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, one, you're declining everywhere. So is expansion the best thing? Now, some people are saying, well, that's what you need to reinvigorate it. But I'm like, well, do Melburnians really need a third side?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's the West that's going to be based in on this, but like Melbourne City can barely draw a 21st birthday crowd.
Yeah.
So it's the Victory are pretty strong still.
Victory's still fairly strong, but
and then so you add you're not even bringing, and I know they've done that for TV rights because they think it's going to be better, but you're just actually diluting the strong clubs, and then you don't put one in Tasmania or Canberra or anywhere that's kind of going to, which isn't serviced by a club.
Exactly. And
it makes no sense at all.
And as you say, part of the reason they've done this Melbourne United thing is Western United is for the TV rights, which is exactly the mistake that Cricket Australia have made with the Big Bash and everything else by extending the season because there's more money coming in through the TV rights.
Yeah.
And sometimes the bigger picture is not just how much money you can get for the TV rights. I know that's easy to say because the AFL, that's very much their sort of modus operandi as well.
Yeah.
With TV rights and the TV money. But as you say, Australian soccer is battling at best at the moment. And they've just made it even worse with this shambles of sacking the Matildas coach.
Yeah, it's an odd culture there because it's the one thing I'm a soccer fan and I've been a Melbourne Victory member and go regularly, and because I also like footy, on Twitter you get attacked by soccer fans. They go, well, you're just a footy fan. You go, and so it's the most unwelcoming sport I've ever been involved in. Like, there's no desperation to they shoot themselves in the foot all the time, and the administrators almost do the same thing. Like it's this inward looking kind of thing that just.
I agree with that because there are plenty, and you and I both included here, is AFL fans who like soccer as well.
Yeah,
I know hundreds of blokes who love both.
So do I. Yeah,
but soccer fans rarely reciprocate. They go.
Unless it's your number one sport, and you think it's better than anything else, it's like I've seen some massive.
They're very unforgiving.
Yeah, they're very unforgiving, and you kind of wonder why they. It is a real problem they have. After singing AFL's praises in an administrative sense, AFLW is kicking along. It was actually a few blowouts on the weekend. The North are obviously great. Melbourne absolutely smashed Brisbane up there, which was amazing. So there was a few. Carlton got a win.
And the other good news is Collingwood are terrible.
Collingwood are terrible. It's always good.
Hey, and I'll tell you what on the AFL, David, before we get stuck into the AFL for what we're about to talk about, is this whole thing before the season started of low scores. That's not really the problem anymore. They're kicking 9 or 10 goals a week. They're winning.
But also, an
teams.
AFLW game is about just over half the length of an AFL men. So it's
9 or 10 goals is the equivalent of a 20-goal game.
It's nowhere near. That's what people don't get. That it's. I mean, there have been games where the scoring's been terrible, but there's also been a lot where they've kicked long. But even if scoring got to an equivalent thing, it's not going to be the same because of the length of time it's played, and you have 2 less people.
Exactly.
But I actually thought the standard, watching the last couple of weeks this season, it's gone up immensely, because I remember in the first year, so someone would get the ball down back, kick it forward.
Yeah.
That person would almost never take the mark, even unchallenged. They would drop it, maybe have time to recover, and then but the hands and the marking and the were just like often horrendous. Like if you were if you're the opponent, you would just expect them to drop it. There was the marked improvement in the kicking and the marking and stuff is
There's
just
a lot more clean ball handling.
A lot more. They were coming a few times. Melbourne were coming out of the back half, and they were just, it was just pinpoint right into the forward line.
That the first season, everyone, people who understand the game, footy pretty well, said, look, there is going to be improvement every year as standards improve and the pathways are there for the girls to come through.
Yeah.
But I actually reckon that the improvement has been more sort of stratospheric the last season.
Yeah.
It is far better this year than it was last year. And if this continues on in a couple of years' time, you won't have peanuts going, well,
you'll always have that to an extent because there's people that just like to be...
Yeah, but they just won't have a leg to stand on.
What I love AFLW is they sort of talk about how it's given young girls this ability to dream of and have that option in their life, and some of them will fulfil that dream. We're not focusing enough on it. Also provides women to grow up and realise that their hopes are dashed. They're not good enough to ever play at the top level,
exactly.
Which men have had the right to forever.
I mean,
we have always known that we're not good enough, and so now a lot of women can feel that.
I mean, young women can now feel the pain of never being drafted.
Yeah, of a failed life. One we all feel.
And the 17-year-olds who miss out, they're going to have to wait until they're 30 to realise, to finally accept the fact you're never going to play at the highest level.
I think deep down everyone's kind of still in the back of their mind wondering.
Well, even I know 40-year-olds.
You've had a heart attack, but you still think. You've had open heart surgery, but you're still thinking about it.
Look, I still reckon I could play for the Stars.
The AFLW, though, the AFL's decision, this has been bubbling along, it gets worse each week, is they have conferences. So what I love about this is having conferences was an incredibly stupid idea.
There was absolutely no point to it. Ever.
You know what bugs me about it is Nicole Livingston, who I think is hopeless as the head of the AFLW, because you just never hear from her.
No.
And she seems to just roll over. She's not like a bit of an independent voice.
And whenever you do hear from her, she just...
She's justifying
cliches.
She's justifying everything. You kind of want a head of the AFLW to be a bit almost like, I know they're employed by the AFL, but you kind of want them to be a bit like saying, we want more of this. Like, they're sort of like the minister for something. They're within the government, but they've got to advocate for their own
players' union advocate.
Well, they've got to advocate for their own portfolio, you know. And you feel like with her, if she's ever is interviewed, and often I'll see her not interviewed, like you're just going, where's her response on this? She just toes the party line like, this is great, and you're like, but it's not great for your comp. You're like, if you're the head of that comp, this is not good. And so she said, we decided that conferences are in line with the fact that the AFLW is a place where we can experiment and be innovative with new ideas and all this. And I thought, this is what bugs me. Like, who decided that? The AFL. Why? I mean, the criticism that can be levelled against the AFLW more than anything else is like it's gimmicky. I mean, I say that laughing with AFLX existing, but the women don't want a gimmick game. That's the whole point. They want to play footy. They want a league of their own. But it is in the main is the same as the men's. Well, they don't want a hybrid game. They don't want to they don't want all the tinkering. So,
who decided that it has to be experimental?
Yeah, that's my point. Like so then out of that comes the conference system, which is just a 10-team sister league.
Yeah, two conferences of 5.
It's just the dumbest.
Completely unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary, only because they didn't want to have a couple of extra rounds to make sure everyone played everyone. But you know what? Don't do that. Just have a ladder and it be an uneven draw like the men's is. Yeah. It doesn't make a big difference,
right?
With
10 teams, all you needed was, the season starts here, finishes there.
Well, they said I think they only won 8 rounds, so there wouldn't be everyone doesn't play everyone. But I'd just say, that's the way it's got to be. The men's don't have an even draw. Like the idea that we're not...
as it's turned out, the whole drama here is the two conferences are so lopsided
They're basically so they're so bad that the 5 teams in Conference A would occupy the top 5 spots if you just had one ladder. The 5 teams in Conference B, which are Carlton, Geelong, Brisbane, GWS and Collingwood, have just 3 wins between them all season and sit 6th to 10th if it wasn't off a ladder. So the difference is in the groups is that 4 of the 5 sides in Conference A, North, Fremantle, Melbourne and Adelaide, all hold a percentage of 141 or greater.
Yeah.
In Conference B, only one team, Carlton, has a percentage above 63.
So what happens come final time? Do they have to have a...
2 teams will go in from I think it's the top 2 in the Conference B and Conference A. So literally, like Melbourne, I think in Conference A are sitting 3rd.
Yeah.
But they would be so far ahead of... If they were in Conference B, they would be so far ahead on percentages. Like they got a percentage.
But they could miss out in the finals.
They could miss out in the finals.
The 2 dud teams from
But to a team that's
B.
like got a losing record.
Yeah.
Like this is what's... Like you could see someone end up, like 3 and 5 with a percentage of 63, and they could be in.
Haven't they thought this through? Well, as usual.
And you know what? I don't say this lightly, but it's sort of the thing where you go, the AFL should just come out and say, even now, I know it's like people's tinkering with the thing, but you just go, you know what? The conference system is broken. It's just going to be a ladder.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it this week. Like,
it would be by far better for whether it's Nicole Livingston or Gillen to come out and go, yeah, okay, we've said it's fairly experimental. This experiment hasn't worked.
It's terrible. It's bad for the game. Because they're going to say, well, no,
we got it wrong.
Because even for the integrity of the competition, so they'll say, oh, no, that was the rules going in and we can't change it. But I'm arguing that for the integrity of a competition, for you to have pushed on it something that is ridiculous, I think no club would really complain. I mean, if you're one of the top of the teams that's like currently, I think, like 1 and 3 and sitting Conference B and going to the final. I mean, yes, they're going to want finals because it's better for them, but they'll get smashed. Yeah. It's going to be an annihilation. And you're basically going to have, a team that's the top team playing like a team that really shouldn't have even made the finals. And it's just, and the gap between the good and the bad teams are huge,
that's what they exactly just come out and admit they were wrong, which again, we know that won't happen.
No.
But it has been a shambles.
Jim Woodcock wrote in, should the AFLW introduce promotion and relegation between Conference A and Conference B next season? Don't give them any ideas, Jim.
Why not, Jim? Why not?
It's stupid. It's just stupid enough it might work, the AFL will think.
Well, why not split them into 3 conferences next year?
The Bargeman wrote in, should the AFLX teams be split into 2 conferences?
So you have the Bolts and the Deadlies in one conference.
And the Rampage.
And the Flyers in the other. And you have you can have the top team. Maybe the top 2 teams in each conference then plays off in the finals.
Yeah.
The AFLX.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Dan Hannabury's already had a bit of an injury, hamstring awareness.
Isn't there a lot of awareness getting around at the minute?
There's a lot of stories in the media at the moment about St Kilda sort of talking them up and that it was an aberration last year. And I'm
Alan
sort of
Richardson and Simon Lithleen and Billy Slater.
I've seen more of
Gubby Allen.
Do you know I've seen more of Billy Slater in a St Kilda polo than any other player in the media? It's hilarious.
Yeah, and I've seen more Billy Slater in a St Kilda polo than I ever saw him in a Melbourne Storm polo.
So that's sort of, it's going to be interesting. There's a hamstring awareness is a great term, isn't it?
Isn't it? Somebody had the other day shoulder awareness.
Right.
So,
They now, clubs apparently refer it as pre-tear overload. So we've also had Chad Wingard's pulled out of the...
all the good players are pulling out of the
AFLX. Yeah.
Who was it? Tom McDonald's pulled out.
He's pulled out.
Chad Wingard. Someone else, I think, just the other day.
Did Stephen May pull out? I think Stephen May pulled out.
Oh, Stephen May pulled out, yeah.
Is Tom McDonald pulled out? I didn't know that. I knew Stephen May had.
No,
I'm all for all our players pulling out.
Yeah, I hope Tom McDonald pulls out.
I hope they all pull out.
I know Stephen May has, definitely.
Apart from the captains that are getting paid an obscene amount of money, I don't get the desire to play in it at all.
No.
Are you going to go or watch it?
Well, I'll watch it.
I've been offered so many free tickets, and I don't mean I just mean from various emails I get from
blokes on the street.
And not I got a bunch of emails from I think various AFL clubs, or if I'm and various things and offers through other things and stuff, and then it was like $10 a ticket, and then it was like free. Do you want a free ticket?
Yeah.
How many do you want? So do
you reckon they'll draw a crowd?
Well, I can't say how they'll have to draw. With all the marketing they're doing, like the amount of marketing they're doing. I was in the middle of the city. There's a big billboard across from Flinders Street Station in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
That whole billboard was an AFLX one. I'm looking at it going, really? It's the money. I'd love to know. I would love to get the figures of how much they spent on marketing AFLX compared to AFLW. Yeah. I would love to know those figures.
Or just, the money on AFLX, whether it's the marketing.
But the marketing alone is insane. Yeah. So then, they've given it their all if this doesn't work. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a bad crowd. The thing that I'd love to know is how many of them are free or the discounted, $10 general admission. Because if you can't get a free ticket to AFLX, you're not trying.
You're not trying. Yeah.
It's... and if you'd bought a ticket to AFLX early on, you should be annoyed because they're just...
Don't bother putting it on Gumtree.
You have to pay someone to come pick it up. So basically it's... but I've learned... you'd be crushed to hear this. I know I was. I think I'm going to be I'm going up to Sydney this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm going to be on a plane when AFLX is on, I think.
Are they televising it in Sydney? I presume they will be on Fox.
I think I'll be on a plane while it's happening. I'm flying on Friday night. Which I didn't even.
You better set your IQ. You better tape it.
Can you believe what a mistake booking that ticket and not checking?
See, booking a flight when AFLX is on is like booking a wedding on grand final day.
Oh, yeah, it's exactly like that. The other news is Buckley looks like signing a new contract.
Yes, it does.
How that's changed in a...
And he's turned that round in less than 12 months. Just a staggering amount.
I can't... I know last year the Pies had a relatively good draw.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they also had horrendous injuries. So, I'm not saying that draw was the reason. They played really well, out a sensational season. And I'm really interested to see, the expectations for them are so high. I've spoken to a few people and they're like, they're just flying on the track. They're the team everyone's watching going, they're going to be the ones. And I think Richmond as well.
And you talk about you've never seen so much publicity for St Kilda. If I see one more story about Collingwood having the best midfield in the AFL, they've just been pumping that up. And sure, they do on paper have a good midfield, but the top 3 or 4 clubs have all got great midfields.
Yeah, there's some good teams this year going into it. And then I love how, I've seen some of the preseason ratings that, Champion Data do and others, the Eagles keep coming in at 7th, which just shows you the ridiculousness of all these preseason tips.
And the Champion Data, did you see the survey the other day about how many elite players each club's got?
Yeah.
There were some dead set spuds in there. Guys who are, they're good AFL footballers, but you wouldn't call them necessarily elite.
Moo wrote in, these are some listeners' questions. Moo wrote in, a colleague at work asked me who I was going for in the AFLX. I immediately struck him. Is that enough, or should I pursue bullying and harassment charges too?
Moo, in some workplaces, you'd be the one held responsible for the violence.
But with AFLX, it's fine.
I think, no court in the land would convict you on that one.
Cliff Anderson wrote in, if the Bolts are beating the Rampage by 26 points, but the Rampage Gatorade game changer gets injured, how many Super goals does the Subway Super Sub have to score before someone cares?
I'm going to have to reread that again, Cliff, just to get my head around the whole thing.
Reading out the rules. So this is not a joke. When they put out the new rules, I read them and they've got this year like a launch zone. Have you heard of this?
Yeah,
Which is sort of
I
outside
can't work out what
it's
it
sort
is.
of like outside the 50, I think. And then they've got these other zones. So I read the whole thing, and it's like, if you kick it here, it counts as this many points. But if you kick it here. And I'm reading it, and I genuinely had to read it about 5 times to understand what the hell was going on.
It's like, you hear about some people, well, I don't know, say a Billy Connolly. Yeah. He's so funny. If he read the phone book, I'd laugh.
Yeah.
I reckon there's a whole Melbourne International Comedy Festival show. Just stand up and read the AFLX rules.
And ideas. Yeah. Just like, because it was just, they're like, if you kick it from the launch zone, but it goes to and is marked in the something else zone, it will count as a 10-pointer. And I'm like, what? Like, so, and
how are the commentators going to go? Oh. Remember last year they just talked it up like they were,
but they're all getting paid so for them it's great. They get night's work for
they get paid nicely and all they have to do is
and the AFL's made it very clear to everyone that this is something to be talked up. And Channel 7 have an interest in it succeeding because if it succeeds, that's another property they can market.
And
so they're all for it.
For next season, yeah.
That's why it's getting all the push. But
what's it going to take for it to get the bullet after this season?
I think either the ratings have to be terrible.
Yeah.
The ratings just basically have to be so bad and the attendance that the costs and everything involved and the effort.
They will just have to accept that nobody cares.
I seriously reckon a bad injury to someone would be the biggest, actually be. The AFL look at it like we produce content, that's our business.
Yeah.
Right? They don't see themselves as a football business. They see themselves as a content generating
business. Content provider.
Yeah. So if it gets enough ratings that it's still worth it.
Yeah.
That they make money out of it, they'll keep doing it. My problem is it's not about that. It's about focus as an organisation. And when you're looking at it, and the AFLW, I think, is a much better product, but struggling because of conferences and various things. And then I look at, they haven't sorted out footy in Queensland. The expansion teams are not really set. There's trouble at some of the grassroots. There's trouble with Tasmania.
Yeah, there's Tasmania put their hand up.
Look after your own patch before you start. It's just, does something like this, even if it makes a little bit of money, justify all the work.
Yeah.
Because all that work and effort and time and resources could be going into something else.
Could have been going elsewhere.
It doesn't have to even be AFLW. It could be community football. Could be Tasmania.
It could be grassroots footy. It could be junior footy, amateur footy.
That's right. Like, you just go, is this the best use of
revenue and money?
Andrew Byrne wrote in, here are the ingredients for everyone's favourite vanilla slice. 2 puff pastry sheets, 250 mils, 1 cup of milk, 1 vanilla bean split, 3/4 cup corn flour, 1/2 cup custard powder, 220 grams of caster sugar, 750 mils of thickened cream, 50 grams unsalted butter, and 3 egg yolks.
There you go. Get onto it.
I take that not as a question, but as a recipe. I'm glad Andrew decided to send that in.
So what do you just mix all that stuff together?
He doesn't give anything more. It's just the ingredients. He's not claiming. He just says, here are the ingredients.
Chuck it all in a pan. Give it a stir.
I think you put it all in a bowl and put it in the microwave for a minute on high. Thanks, Andrew. I don't know why Andrew felt like the need to do that.
You sure it was us he meant to communicate with?
Hi, Nigella. It starts off. I think everyone knows what
Nigella Lawson should stop wearing that hat like you wear.
You think that was his from certain
mistake.
Angles, Nigella and I look similar. I've never heard that before. Well, we're back. Hopefully that recorded.
Well, hopefully it did.
Hopefully it didn't sound like it was recorded on Serge's Commodore 64 in a public toilet.
Yeah, which we were accused of. Hopefully it all worked. And can we just say it was good last week to see that. Who would have thought that poor Australian soccer player Hakeem, he's finally been released from that Thai prison.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that he would get out of jail on the same day as Tony Mockbell? I should have taken those odds.
On that note, we'll see you next week to wrap up the AFLX.